Hello, yes, and welcome to Agrestal Vestige, where we are vested in all things Agrestal. My name is Tom. I'm here with you yet again this week with another blended Scotch whiskey review. This week we have Pure Scot. What is Pure Scot? Pure Scot is from the lowlands. Actually, it's a Bladnoch distillery. It's a lowland distillery named Bladnoch. It's distilled and matured and bottled in Galloway. It's bottled at 40% ABV. It doesn't say anything about chill filtration or coloring. Anyway, it looks pretty decent. It doesn't look orangey. It doesn't look like it's been colored much at all. It is corked, which is not common for a blend. So let's get into Pure Scot. You really don't have many Scotch whiskies that come from the lowlands. A lot of the lowlands produce grain whiskies. So this is an interesting one. Bladnoch has been around for many years, decades actually, and it produces consistently decent whiskey. So they have a range of malt whiskies. This is in their range of blends. So what is their blend? Well, it's a blend, according to them, of Speyside, Highland, and Islay. Okay, so we should be expecting to see some notes of all of that in here. What do we get? On the nose, the first thing I get is barley malt. That's very distinctive, comes through abundantly. Then there's like a fruit cake, like a Christmassy fruit cake coming through. Quite rich toffee. Almonds, sultanas. Butterscotch, that was his tingling. Butterscotch and just a real waft of smoke. It's not very smoky at all. So I thought with the Highland and Islay whiskeys being in there, you might have some smoke, but nothing really, just slight. What about on the palate? On the palate's very gingery, like ginger snaps. To me, it's almost like a Jewish rye bread, which is odd since it's a malt, barley malt. But I get a Jewish rye bread type flavor note in there. The ginger on the palate's the first thing that hits you. A bit of raisins, the white raisins, marmalade. There's a slight perfuminess to it, but a nice perfume note, like a nice woman's perfume. So I would say floral on that. Let's see. And for those of you out there into botanicals, I happen to be one of those people, but if you're into herbs or botanicals, the marshmallow root and the herb skullcap, it has some very prominent notes actually of marshmallow root and skullcap in it. Interesting. And on the flavor, I mean, on the finish isn't long and it's not abrupt. I would call it a medium finish. You get a bit of what I call that twiggy type smoke. Not like a wood smoke or a roaring fire. It's just if you're at a campsite and put some twigs together and lit it and just had something to warm your hands, like that twiggy type smoke. You get that on the finish. You definitely don't get it on the palate. Brown sugar. I get a brown sugar note on the finish. Little spiciness. There's some spice there. I mean, it's not a simple whiskey, but Blagnock never typically is. There are some releases that have been simple, but I've never had the Blagnock blends before. I've only ever had the single malts. What's the other lowland that's so popular? It's the Clynelish, I think it is. Now that's used in a lot of blends. I think that's one of the main ones that's used in Johnny Walker. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's correct. But then again, Johnny Walker uses all sorts of things, 40 to 60 malts. That's why you'll never see a Johnny Walker or a Macallan reviewed on this site. I just don't bother. There's so many better things out there to drink, to smell, to taste. Anyway, that's a whole nother video actually. Okay, after adding 2 milliliters of water, bottled at 40 ABV, do I get anything additional on the nose now? Actually, the perfumey type notes that were coming through on the palate before adding the water are now kind of evident on the nose. And like a fresh flowers, fresh cut flowers. Like you go to the florist to purchase flowers for someone's funeral, but not funeral home flowers. You know, that's different. Like you walking into a florist and the fresh cut flowers. But that perfumey note, it's not bad. It's quite inviting, but kind of odd. Okay, on the palate. The addition of water decreases the perfume on the palate. Remember, before adding the water, the perfume was on the palate more than on the nose, but after adding the water, the perfumey note came on the nose rather than the palate. It's distinctly decreased on here. However, the addition of water has added like a dates and figgy type notes to it. Sweet honey and white pepper, actually. Interesting. Yeah. The water does extend the finish a little. Not by much though. It's still a medium finish. It doesn't lengthen it that much, but it does lengthen it a few seconds and give you a little bit more of that that perfumey type note, which is also a slightly stronger actually after adding the water. Still, I mean, it's not complex. It's not dead simple either. If I had to rate this, that being 40 ABV, they don't make any declarations about color or chill filtration. Probably chill filtered by the taste of it. possibly not colored, if it is not colored much. I'd rank this a strong 86. I would, because it gives you flavors that a lot of other blends don't. I mean, a lot of the blends, you know, because they're usually in American oak, Keras alba type wood, and those sometimes ex-bourbon cask and all that, you get the same vanilla-y type caramel notes. This is different, you know. It gives you notes that are different than the typical. So thinking about it, because of that, I'd give it an 87. I'd give it 87 out of 100. If it had the standard notes, I'd give it far less. But because, you know, I mean, there's not many Scotch whiskies where you can taste Jewish rye and ginger snaps, for example. Perfume. Not that you want to, but if you like that, it's definitely different. There's nothing really like it. But give it a try. See what you think. It's a good old-fashioned distillery. They make a quality product. This is one of their ones that they've branched into, called Pure Scot. If you like it, leave me a comment. If you don't like it, leave me a comment. Actually, just comment about it, because this is new to me. I just happened across this bottle accidentally. I've never seen it in many shops before. As far as price, I tend to forget the price sometime. This is around 40 to 45 pounds, dollars, euros, depending on where you're at. So it's not one of the cheaper blends, and it's not one of the more expensive ones either. So it's worth trying for something different, for a different flavor profile. Anyway, that's it for me. Like and subscribe and all that. And until next time, this is Tom. Bye-bye.